Right. Okay. Oh. So really thinking that the existing website, in terms of from a member's view point of view, was looking a little bit dated, and sort of felt that it was sort of time that we had a look at it and brought something a little bit more brighter and easy to use, and generally just a more up-to-date sort of site. So probably best to start by just going straight to it, and then sort of if I just sort of run over it, open it up and have a chat about it. So what we got now is a proposal. It's not finished. It's not. It's sort of working, but there's lots of things to do to it still before it works properly. But hopefully, we'll give you a good feel about what the proposal is, and it's now. This is a good time to sort of feed in any things you feel would be worthwhile adding to it, and also changes and you know, and just these sort of things, I don't know, colours and things that can be added. And so let's, what we've got is a sort of proposing that we have a fixed top at the top with a sort of standard format with the U3A logo on the left and the U3A name on the right. Sorry, right. Trying to make it a little bit more. And then under that, a fairly simple menu line, which has got hopefully too many entries in it. But the idea of the thing is it's for the members, and therefore it would only have items in here which would be for members' use. For people with authority levels, I would suggest that they still use the existing site for their administrative activities, but there's nothing to stop them using the other site for sort of day-to-day stuff, but we'll come back to that. Firstly, sort of this blue line would have a login in it, and then I'll just log into it. Actually, no. Yeah. So you've got a log in, log out, so you can do that on the top line. Then we're suggesting having something like a sort of something, a highlight. Highlight particular, or, you know, in other words, renewal time.
Has it?
Oh. Little saying red, you know, renew your membership, and they could, or if they owe some money for the third element here for when sort of logged in would be the sort of personal information, the sort of thing which we had maybe in my information previously, and that would have things like my groups, my program, my payments, linked payments, check my details. So yes, so we were sort of looking at this top line here. So there are a set of items which, and this would all be controlled from the other site, from the main site, in the same way as at the moment. It would show the entries in the same sequence as you see them on the other site. So you control that. You can change the names of them in the same way as you can on the other site. You can include things or not in there. So there'll be three sort of drop downs, one for personal stuff.
Chris, sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah, sorry.
On the fourth one, on the personnel, it talked about direct debits, it talked about cancelling your direct debit, etc., etc. But you said it would be controlled from our existing site. So
yes.
How would that? I'm sorry, but how would that work?
So if on the existing site you're using direct debit and you've already got it set up on the so if you've got on the old site here, if you've got this using the old site here and you've set up create direct debit mandate and cancel direct debit mandate and things like that on this site, then that will appear on the other one as well.
Right, so that's like using Stripe then.
Well, no, that uses Go Cardless to do that.
Go Cardless.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
right. I didn't even know that existed.
Yes, yeah. I think it's used by, I suppose, what, half a dozen people, I think, groups. Yeah. So share this one instead. Right. I'll go back to there. So if as you don't use them at the moment, you hadn't turned that menu item on, then that wouldn't come out on this. So it'd only come out on the items that you want to see here. And it's the same for activities. So things like the group list, monthly meetings, outings, the calendar, and then other pages that you choose to add onto there. You in the same way as you do on the current mobile site, which is you can have additional pages on either the activity line or the information one. So the information one had things like the message forum, newsletter, that sort of thing. It's as I say, the moment I haven't finished doing it yet, so it's just here just to show really how it might look. So and the aim would be also that the pages would not necessarily be exactly the same pages that you've got on the existing site, because the aim here would be to show to be able to use it on a tablet easily and more visible. I think sometimes the existing site gets a bit small when you view it on a tablet and things. So for instance, if we went to the group list, the aim would be to try and make this larger, and so if you were viewing it on a tablet, it would look at a better size than. And then if you're looking at a group, then again the thing would fill the whole page. So it is flexible based on the width that you choose. Or on the width of the screen that you're using. So the aim is to fill the page, use everything, use all the information, use all the space that's available.
Presumably that would then depend on if a tablet user was either in landscape or portrait.
Sorry, just missed that.
Presumably, should we be recommending to our users that they should have their tablets and use it on landscape rather than portrait?
Oh, landscape, I would think probably is the better way to do it. Yeah. And well, that sort of brings me on to the second part of this bit, that obviously we want to try and also be able to use it for a phone or maybe a tablet on portrait. And so there's the if you like, the second side of the things would be here. So it's this time the menu is much the same as it is in the mobile site at the moment, and would have all the various items that that you can have there, which again it's you can see them there, and then they drop down, and then you can select which ones that you want there.
Because Chris, I think that's something we didn't have before on the existing mobile site. Is you didn't have the what do they call it? It's not a concertina menu, but the sub menu of a menu item.
Yes, that's right. Yes, it's it might be an accordion.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yes, right. Okay. So yes, so if you do use it on a on a phone, then you'd be able to get access to it, and also it would show things sort of one below the other rather than side by
So,
side.
yeah, so it stacks the page on a phone, doesn't it?
Say again.
It stacks everything.
Yes, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So yes, so it gives you everything, but in a much longer and thinner thing. One thing that I have done is, and again, it's for discussion. Although I've sort of assumed that group leaders would not use the admin part of the system, they would use this bit of it. So as you can see, all their sort of icons would be available from here. I've made them much bigger and spaced them out, and hopefully they're again easier to use on the tablet.
Question, Chris. With those icons that are running across, if a group leader was to pick the site up on a mobile phone, what would happen then? Can you reduce your screen size back to a mobile phone size?
Hang on a sec.
They lose them completely.
I've taken them out because I don't think it's practical to do it. So they don't appear on the slim version, which is just what I was going to say.
That's fine.
You said, yeah,
I've got a question on that, Chris. At the moment, if you go into the site on a mobile phone, you get the phone version. And then you have an option in one of the menus to actually see the proper site.
Yeah.
And I do that because sometimes at a meeting, I might want to look at a member's record or do something with them, which is obviously not ideal, but will there still be an option when you're in it with a mobile or a tablet to access the full site?
Yes.
And then live with it.
Yeah, well, the idea, yes, well, that perhaps not necessarily to make that option available to your let's say rank and file members.
Right. But an admin could.
Yes. So
Is the nice and broad admin site, is that the full site? Is that what that takes you to? Or where does that go to?
This one,
admin site. What does that take you to?
That would take you to the full site.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm thinking probably it's best if we did this to start off with everybody who's got an authority level to go and to default to the main site, and everybody who doesn't to default to the new format. That's not to say that then you could either opt to go for this site and use this link when you want to go over to the old site, or there will be two different URLs that you can use, and
wow.
but for once you've set out the options, everybody go to the single one that we use at the moment. We wouldn't change any of the links, because I know you put lots of links in various places. That wouldn't change. It's just where it would go when they arrive. It's just that for the administrators and such like, who generally are going to use the main one, you'd have another URL which would take you, if you wanted to use the other one, you could have another link for that.
Isn't that a bit confusing? Because at the moment, in our kind of instructions for members that goes in the newsletter, we put go to this site.
Yeah.
And if you've got two sites, that is a bit weird.
No, I think I've not explained it properly then. No, the idea is that there would only be one link, and it would be the same link you use at the moment. So your U3A Southampton one would work for this format for members, but for people with authority levels would go to the other.
Okay. So
all I was saying was it gives you you'd have the option to have another one if you wanted to.
Okay, yeah.
Administrate.
Can I make another comment before I shut up? headings, the menu items have got different names. So you've got personal there, which is sort of equivalent to the my information. And I'm thinking how, if you're going to put instructions for people how to set up a direct debit, admittedly, you're going to have to say, if you're doing it on a tablet, you look at the top menu, and if you're on a laptop, you look at the side menu. But some more commonality would make it easier to have instructions.
They will be the same.
They will be the same.
Yes, this is just sort of half and half developed, really. So yes, for
Okay.
they would remain the same. You know, if you know, and personnel may not be the one we want to choose. If we want something else, then you know, maybe we should have something else. But whatever it is, it'll be in both the tablet version, the phone version, and the desktop version.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So that's the sort of basic structure of the thing. So everything else. So all the the bit below here will either be one of two things. It'll either be, if you like, system screens, such as the group list. So this is a fixed format screen, and it offers you a link to all the groups. Or so also the Chess for Beginners one, that will be a fixed format screen, but obviously you can do all sorts of things like add things in, change the text and such like. But the format of the screen would be fixed. And we'd have to sort of look at all the existing screens that are on this, if you like, the menus, and get them looking, suitable for this site. I have started to have a look at that, not very far so far.
Chris, this may be a new thing that I'm asking about, but I'm looking at that screen. What the heck is that little square blue speech bubble with 3 dots in it? I've never seen that before.
Text messages.
Oh, that. Ah, yes. Sorry, you're talking about the blue one. Yeah, SMS. Yes. It's a new thing that's coming in on 14.2, I think, is where it is. And what it does, it'll enable you to send out. So where you, at the moment, a group leader can send out emails. There is an option if you want to switch it on for group leaders, or if they do that, they can then, if it's something they need about a cancelled meeting or something like that, they could send a text message to those people who have obviously a mobile phone.
Oh, okay, so how is that switched on then? Is that going to be automatic in the next download or something?
Yes, well, it won't be switched on. It'll be left switched off and allow you to switch it on if you want it.
Because you have to buy blocks of text messages.
Yes, they cost about threepence each, isn't it? Twopence or threepence each.
Yeah, threepence, yeah.
Sorry, I know I joined in late because Google was mucking me about, but can I just go back to the beginning? Are you saying that this is going to become the new face of the website for members?
Yeah, for your members, yes.
Right, and then the current one we've got will still exist for doing all the admin and everything else.
Yes.
So when a member, an ordinary member, goes to the website, they'll go to this website. But if I was to log in, would I get a choice, or will I still go to that one and have to go to the admin?
I think the idea would be that you'd have a choice, and so that somehow or other we will say, haven't really worked out how that would be, but it would enable you to decide where you're going, and then if you wanted to go to the other one, you could.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
that's right. Yeah. Okay.
It will be there. It's there to try and make it sort of easy for the member, but also give you the options to go either way.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
I also missed the beginning of the call, Chris. I think that you mentioned, because myself and a couple of others have been playing with this, you said that there would be an option for each U3A to either turn on the new format or remain with the old format.
Oh, yes. If they don't want that, then there would be a definite overall split, which would just stay as you are. So
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Good. Okay. So if I now sort of go back to the second part of the thing, and I'll just go back to sharing a minute. So the second part of this is to try to give you all an easier and simple way to create web pages that you want to have yourself, without using stuff like HTML. It's basically a template building tool which would enable you to just develop pages that you want. So if I just log out here, this is EasyMod's homepage. Well, not quite. I mean, it's a version of their homepage to try and sort of get together to see the sort of things you might be able you can do with the template. What I'll do is I'll show you how to create a web page, and hopefully it will make it easy for you, much easier for you than at the moment when you have to think about HTML and positioning images and such like that. So I'll show you. It's called the web page creator, which will be in the administrator's version of the system, and it sits there for me at the moment. Right. So the idea of this is that you might have lots of pages, as you can see here. There are lots of web pages that are being created. So I think Alan's created some, and Neil and Richard have had a go. So the idea here is that if you wanted to just create a new web page, click on the blue cross there, and then just say, I don't know, we'll just call it a golf club, just for something to call it. Right. So now we've got an entry here, which says golf club, and so that's the name of the page. And if we click on there, the idea of it is that you create these entries in blocks. So you've got a block at the top, and then and you can then build blocks in or insert blocks in between it. So for instance, so if we start off.
Sorry. What's a block?
Well, let me just show you what I think a block is, and then well, that might. So what I'm going to do is to create a block. So we'll call it line 1 for the moment. Oh, line 1. And this is the sequence number. So the sequence in which you want those blocks to be shown. So here we go. So we're going to start a completely new one. Now the idea here. So now I've got the first one. So I'm going to update the block detail. In other words, I'm going to create a block. So this is the template format here, which I know it looks a bit daunting to start with, but what it does to start with is to create, and if you like, this first block of information, which will go across to the website. If you let that go, this is just a dummy one, which is just there for your use. You can see that you can create a block with an image surrounding it. You can have an image as just a text block, or you can have an image on their own. So
presumably you can have as many columns as you like.
No, you can have 3 columns. You can have as many blocks as you like. So in other words, many lines as you like.
Ah, right, okay.
So it'll build down the thing. So if we did nothing more and said, right, okay, I'll just take that one forward. So we've now, if I go to this one here, I didn't update it, so I'll have to go back there. Right. So I've just used the default options to create it. So now if I So when you go back to your thing, it'll view, you can view the block, which is there, or you return back to here, and you can view the whole web page that you've created, which will be all the blocks, but since we only created one, that's there. So if I now output this to, just say I'll put it, I'm going to use additional page 12. So all I'm doing is outputting that block to additional page 12. So now if we go back to the website, hopefully I've got, I didn't get it. Yeah, I think it's Neil's page that is there. You see, now you've created a web page that's that. So, so that's if you like block number 1. Block number 2 will appear below it when you create it. So obviously that's not what you want it to contain, but so we'll go back to the old website, back into Golf Club again, and say, right, okay, let's so we'll update it. So now you've got it's set up with 3 columns. You can reduce that and say, well, look, to start with, all I want is 1. All I want is just a line of text. So if I just create, say, the other 2 disappear. This one at the moment has got an image there. So because this option here, you have the option for both image, text, or both. So if I just change it back to text, here's my text that I've just popped in there. Here's the color I've chosen as a background. Here's the color I've chosen as a text. So if I now update that, you can see now that all that stuff we had before is gone now, and it's just created a single line with a line of text going across the whole width. You might probably put a bit more text into it to fill it in. You've got the option to have a central heading or a column heading, so you don't obviously want both. So update that, so that disappears. And so now if we return that back now to where we were, and send it out to page 12 and refresh the screen, and now you've got another a page there. So so that's, if you like, that's block number 1. So now,
Sorry.
Yep.
So additional page 12 is now this page.
Yes.
Or, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
So there isn't another additional page 12 that I could create. So if I created a web page and I used additional page 12, can I then create yet another web page using additional page 12?
You can create, there at the moment, there's 12 additional pages. If as a result of this you want 20 additional pages, then that's quite easy to, we can certainly do that.
Yeah, this looks something like what I would like going forward, because this looks more easier.
Yeah, right. Yes, so yes, you and the thing is that you can, it doesn't change immediately. It only changes when you actually go through the process. So in fact, if I wanted to here, there's a link here to say, well, hang on, I've sent it to the wrong one. I don't want to. So if I even now click on that,
yeah,
it will take it back to the previous one. So
right.
So if we go back to the other screen there and refresh it, it goes back to where it was before. So
right.
So it's only when you're ready that you can that you leave it there.
Yeah. So on that list of items you just displayed, activities that had Neil's. But Neil's was already there. Neil's page is already there, but you're talking about Golf Club.
Yeah, well, this is just a name you give it.
Okay, no, yeah, no, that's fine. But I couldn't see a page. I couldn't see a link to the golf club page.
Right. No, because right. Let's go into if we go into the side menu. If we look at so when you're creating the side menu, you've got
Right, yeah.
additional page 12. We've just called it Neil's page. We
Yeah.
can call it anything like that. So if I change that to golf.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
See here, it's come up with golf
Yeah,
club,
yeah.
but also it would come up with if we refresh here as well, it will come up. Hopefully, yeah, there you go. It's now come up as golf club. So,
Yeah.
You haven't switched the pages that we're seeing, Chris.
No.
oh, sorry. Okay. Hang on.
And we don't see the URL either. Oh, right, it's there.
Yes. So you can see that that's changed now to so the name's changed. But if you're clicking on it, it's going to go to golf club.
Right. Okay. All right. Fine. Thank you.
It's a sizing of this dynamic to the system used. So I'm
If
just
you
thinking,
introduce the browser script, can you make it narrower? What's that presumably means it will stack with it.
Ah, yes, it stacks that way. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
right.
yes. So
I
if
think
you're viewing it on the phone, so the width, it changes it 1080. I think 1080 pixels. It goes to the less than that. It goes to the narrow one, and larger than that, it goes to the wider one. So it's gone. That's now gone to greater than 1080. Oh, okay. Just to sort of go back to.
So if you had two columns on there,
Yeah.
would it dynamically then go to 2 rows if you were using it on a mobile?
On the phone,
Yeah.
yes, it would. Yes. So well, let's try it and see what happens. So if we go to back to the right, so we'll go back to the golf club again, and we will update this thing, and they'll say right. So at the moment we've got one column here at the moment. So let's just make it 2 columns.
Chris, I was going to suggest, rather than that, create yourself a second block that is a 2-column block, and then you'll be able to see them on the mobile.
Okay. Yep. Fine. Right. Okay. I'll do that.
But if you change your percentage, so where you've got them at the moment, divide by 3 or whatever recurring.
Yeah.
If you change that width to say, I don't know, 50-30.
Yes. I'll let me do that then. Let's
Sorry,
go.
I'm jumping ahead a bit. I don't know.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So we'll go to line 2, and we'll make this sequence 7. Right. So now we've got 2 here. So now we'll go into here. Okay. So now we've got this. We've got the defaults come back again. So now we're going to have a 2 column one, but we'll have one at 66%. So it'll go 66 and 34. So you can see that there are only 2 columns mentioned now. So if I do an update here, you can see now it's made this one 66 and that one 34. So go on. No. Okay. Right. So we'll. So if we just want to put a let's make this one here, this second one, an image. Now, all the images you've got in your system already are available to use here, and when you get it live in your test system to start with, they will all have a number against them, And now you can select from here, rather than go to the images and go and get them out, you can actually just say, well, look, I think I'll have image 74 here. So if I do that,
So
and I can have, you can, when you do an image, you can put rounded corners in, you can put a shadow in it, and then update it. So there we go. It's put that image into the right-hand side there. So column 2's now has got that.
quick question, Chris. You just said that in your image library, each of your images will have a number with them.
Yes.
Will that number correspond to the drop down that you pick up where yours says default at the moment on the page we're looking at?
Yes.
So that will, because I was finding that difficult when I was playing. I was adding a new image and then going to the drop down and thinking, well, which blasted number is it?
Oh, no, hang on. I'll just go into images a second, and you can see that the image number is there. So I think I picked 74, so I just picked that one. Right. So if we now go back to the image creator and friend golf club, right? So we've created. So we've now got 2 blocks. We've got that block there, and then we've got this block here. So we say, right, okay. So we're going to put that into the system. So back to golf club, back to stick it, additional page 12. And if now we have a look back there and refresh it, you see now we've got 2 the headings. So we've now got block 1 here, there, and now we've got block 2 sitting beneath it. And so if we gradually squeeze it, therefore it'll now make it look like that. So you've now got the block, the second block is now sitting one below the other. So you can do things like put buttons in there. You can put links into, so you can link this image to a particular place you want to go. You can obviously create your own images. Like if I go back to one that Richard created. So if I just log out, so he's created in his website at the moment, in the old website, he's created these different things which he uses as links to go to various different places in his site, and you can do that as well. And depends how good you are at creating images. These look pretty good to me. But
Any chance we can get a copy of that interested in joining image?
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he's not on the call because he's away at the moment. But I'm sure he'd be very happy to let you have it. Yes.
Could you let me have his email?
Yes.
You
yes,
could probably
please.
get it out the branding store, actually.
Are they?
Yeah, I think they're all available there, the images.
Okay, if it's on the branding store, then that's fine. I just didn't realise. Okay.
You can get the basic sort of template, so the triangles and the circles and goodness knows what else in the background colour. You can get them from the branding site,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
if you've got something like Paint Shop Pro or
Yeah.
one of the other packages, there it's ever so easy to create those.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay.
Obviously, one of the other things that you can do here is that you can have the ticker tape as well, using here, and I'll just briefly show you how that's done.
Before you move away from images, Chris, if you have a column that is both, so it's text and image,
Yeah.
is there any way to make the image within that column a link as well? I couldn't find any way to do that.
No, but it would but you can make the whole text.
Yeah, I know a way round it. It was just I wondered if there was a quick way to make an image within a block from the template into a link.
I think there's lots of things here, and this is the base thing. I think we need to create a list of the sort of things that we ought to build into this as well, assuming it's possible. That sounds very possible. You might want to, where it's you put an image and a text into the same one, you might want to have the percentage of how much that image wraps in that text there. So because at the moment it's fixed, and therefore
Yeah.
it takes up 40%, I think, of the thing. So
And it's fixed top left, isn't it? You can't move it.
it's fixed top left. Yes, yeah, yeah. Obviously, you can do any of these things using tiny NCE, but it was the idea of trying to keep it as simple as possible to so that people can go in and create things and see how they go and change them and don't have any of the worries of more complex sort of HTML and such like. I was going to go back into here and just show you how to put a ticker tape in there. Tell you what. Right, so we'll just have one column. We don't want both. We just want text,
Yeah.
and then so I tell you what, we won't have a background. Well, we can have a background on it, but all you need to do if you want it to be a ticker tape is just click that thing and then update it. This at the moment doesn't show the ticker tape. It shows what's going to be the ticker tape. It doesn't actually show it. But if we go back and back and load it up again.
Presumably you can change the size of it and everything else, can you?
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah, yeah.
Good.
So it's all done in the block here. Yeah, you define your font size.
Great. Okay. Okay.
You can also add a link into the ticker as well, so that if they hover over the link, they can click it.
Yes, yes, that's right, because it stops if you hover over it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So okay, so that's the sort of basics of the thing, and really, the idea today is to look for suggestions and see what's there and what if people like it, whether or not we should do, add some other things or change some of the things that are there. And maybe you want to go and have a think about it and let me know, or talk about it now, whatever you want to do.
Could you show us? You remember I requested some buttons. You could have a choice of.
Oh yes, yes, buttons. Right. Let me just remember how to do buttons again.
You pick them up from the template, don't you, in Tiny
Yes.
MCE?
No. Yes.
Oh no, you had a very specific link, Chris, that you had to go to. You gave us a very specific link.
Okay. There we go. Right. Okay. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to show you through there. Right. Okay. So you can create buttons that you want to put in there, and you can make them really any size you want, and you've got 10 buttons that you can create, and so you can just put the name of the color that you want in there, or so you've already included them in your. Once you've included them, you can use them again.
Ah, right.
Oh, so they're only there. Yes. So it's not, you're not restricted to having 10 only in your whole website. It's just 10 to work on at any one time. So if we wanted to look at this BBC link, for instance, I've just called it yellow and then made it that. But all you've got to, if you wanted something else, if you want, I don't know whether purple is a number one you can use. Yes, it is. And then you'd say, well, I want white text. Here's the link I want to link it to. And we've called it yellow. So right. So now we've got a button called yellow. And so if we go back to the web creator again.
Did you click update on there, Chris?
You don't have to. You just to return does it.
Oh.
Updates just it's just there if you want it, sort of thing. But if you just hit enter anytime, it does it. So let's go into a bit of text, isn't it? Right. Okay. So hopefully we're all familiar with the templates. So which we use in bulk email. Well, this time it's using the template here. So if you want to insert a template, you've now got all the buttons that we've just created. So there's the blue, there's the purple one we just created. So if you want it there, okay, and there you've got a button there. And then update it. It's not going to look very good, but still, there we go. It's just to show. All right. So now if we go back, return, and then return, and get up into the 12 again. Got there, share this tab, and we are looking for 12. Well, maybe I can log in to get it. So now we've got a button in there. But having looked at that, I'm just thinking, you know, it would be quite nice to have have a little bit of padding around it, so everything's not crammed together. So, you know, that's the sort of thing, you know, niceties we can add to this to actually just make it look a bit better. But yes, so you have buttons there. There are the other things that there are things such as we're trying to get the slider to work. It's not quite working yet at the moment, you know, where you can have multiple images sort of going across the screen and stopping.
On the page that I've created, Chris, I've got all of the code that you need for a slider. I've got one working on the test page I've done. It actually works. It's just whether or not you'd be able to program that in background as a template to use, as it were.
Yeah, well, I've been using Richard's one that she's got, but it's not 100% there at the moment.
Okay.
One thing which Richard mentioned before he went away was things like the charity number we've got on the main site there, but we haven't got it on the the phone site. Whether that's important or not, I don't know, but we can put it in if it is. He was wondering whether or not the banner at the top ought to be, you know, the yellow one here ought to be configurable, or would people be happy to have a standard format there?
We would prefer to be able to put images in there if we could.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if we could put images in, it gives it a much more personal effect to that particular U3A.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, one thing which you haven't been able to do up to now, and you can do now, is that you can put images immediately below for the full width, immediately below your menu screen, and so you put your images there. If you know, as an alternative, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be an alternative. Yeah, yeah.
But you know, I'm you know, if you want to have an image there, or if you just want to create something which is and put at the top there instead of the yellow one, you know, it's what we've done on the main site. It's a trivial thing to do. It just makes it more complicated to set up. But if that's what you want to do, I'm happy to do that.
Well, so I think I might get that sort of feedback from our people locally, because we've got that at the moment, and they quite like that facility.
Yes, actually, you've done yours very nicely. You know, your night and day version of the village, isn't it? It's very good. Yeah.
A couple of comments. So I assume if you're using this new interface design tool, it's still creating the source code that you can look at on the editor.
Yes, you mean if you want to tidy it up and do things like that? Yes, absolutely. It's
you're creating frames, aren't you? You're creating frames, they used to be called, didn't they, in HTML?
Yeah, well, we're now, you know, you could still go back to additional page 12 in the main site, and you can see the text the HTML it's created there. Yes. So
The second question was, is this looks a lot neater and a more modern design?
Yeah.
Is the intention is that more people outside of the admins would be able to create and maintain pages like a webmaster or content manager? Is that what other U3As are thinking about?
I don't know. It'd be
It's
interesting.
definitely important that all the effort is concentrated in the admin. The admin does the back office stuff, and the admin does the public member site. There isn't a distinction of the roles in that respect.
Well, there is a content authority level, isn't there? For I can't remember what it's called. Is it called secretary? No, is it secretary?
Yes, I know. My point is, if you create a content manager and give them the heritage full site, you're not making it easier for them, then, are you? Because they still have to navigate through system details and have to understand how the left-hand menu works.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I suppose that's true. Yes. Yeah. So, but you think that people you would get some of your members to actually create these if it's easy to do?
I'd love there to be members lined up to get involved. But I was asking whether other U3As thought they could see an opportunity here to make a simpler content manager role or webmaster role outside of the admin.
I think we'd be a bit wary. I mean, it's a good idea, and perhaps if that facility was optional, but there's sort of the view that if you've got more people interfering with or updating the system, it's easy to lose track of who's done what.
Yeah,
system details.
I certainly wouldn't want. I would want very few people to be able to change the web material.
You could actually give half of it to your content management people, couldn't you? You could sort of let them able to look at the creation of it, but not the uploading of it. So they could look at. Hang on, I'll share that bit. So
yeah, more like a safe sort of sandpit where people who didn't want to be admins could create the content and then just ask the admin to upload it.
Yes, so this bit would be the admin side of things, and they wouldn't get access to that. But once you get into this bit, you could let people loose on that because they're.
Chris, that was the sort of a distinction I was making, really.
Yes. Yeah. I think probably it'd almost be worthwhile creating it as a standalone, separate thing, rather than getting your members back into, as you say, into the
full admin site.
It would just be worth having a sort of standalone application which they could create them, and then which would view in here for the administrator could see.
And in a commercial world, effectively the admin would be the person who would publish it.
Yes.
So you wouldn't allow a compile member, if they were creative, you wouldn't want them to be playing with things that before they've been tested.
Yeah, I think if there's a demand there, I'm sure we could do that because it's all the codings will have been done when we do it. That it would be just a question of pulling it out and setting it on its own.
Yeah, we'd be happy with that sort of idea. Let people loose and play with their own ideas. And
yes. Yeah.
Because we have I'll give you an example. We have a newsletter editor who creates a really rich newsletter with lots of columns and images, but he won't want to be an administrator. But I could encourage him to create websites built around his artistic, the page layout.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for that, Chris. I might put it in writing if you want to consider ideas for development.
Yeah, no, absolutely. These are the sort of things I think we want to try and get now, because it's much easier to do it now than sort of try and come along after we've put it in and try and make changes. So anything that anybody feels that they would like to they can add to this to actually improve the thing, then
okay, thank you.
One other question, Chris. Are you planning to put this on the test system at some point for us to be able to play about with it?
Yes, very much so. I'm trying to get the test system back up to the sort of the latest sort of test version, and when we do that, it will be in there. So yes.
Okay, yeah.
You know, again, we've still got some people who haven't got on to 14 yet. So anybody who's there who isn't on 14, I'd quite like to get you there if. Right. Okay. So, what do people think? Is this a good way forward? We're going.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
If you
Right. Good. Okay. So right. So does anybody else want to sort of give us any more comments on what they have and what can be done and where they want to go and such like?
What sort of time frame are you
Is this
thinking
still
of
going to?
for the completion of this?
What sort of timescale? Well, it all depends on how many more changes there are, but you know, it's something which we could get going, I would think, in 6 weeks.
Great.
Right.
One thing that both Richard and I thought of, it does mean that most of the videos that we've got scattered, well, Chris has got them on his site, his YouTube site, most of the videos will need redoing.
Yeah, for the members, to help the members. But most of the stuff is, I suppose it's the group leaders stuff. The group leaders pages are all going to be the same. The icons are all going to be the same. A lot of it will be the same, won't it?
Will there still be the 2 separate home pages, Chris? You know, where you get one where someone who's visited before,
yes,
doesn't see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there's still going to be the 3 options of not logged in, and visitor.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Good. Okay.
Isn't a visitor not logged in?
No. If you go into if you go in and have logged in previously on that particular machine, the system that puts a cookie on your computer and it knows you've been there before.
Right.
So it can give you can decide to have certain information available which perhaps you wouldn't give personal information, but you might give some of the members-based information available to them because you know that they're members as opposed to somebody who's come. So there are the 3 options there, which you can choose one or the other for stuff to be available. So that's done in the horizontal menu.
Right.
Well, one other question, Chris.
Yeah.
In membership types and fees, we've got the years up to this year, 2025, but we haven't got anything there for 2026 yet. And I just wondered whether is that something we can update ourselves, or
no, I thought I'd done it. But maybe these. I thought I'd done it. For
No,
a
you
couple of
haven't.
years.
No, you haven't.
No, same at Berry. We just got 26. I was going to give you a ring about that.
You haven't got 26.
No.
David?
Oh, we've got 26.
Ends at 25.
Or 25.
Right. Okay. So do the ones that have gone to 14 are they 25s as well?
Yeah.
25? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Fine. Okay. Well, it's another good reason. I'll put it in the latest version, and then I didn't want to. Well, perhaps it's a question really. There's 5 years there. How many old years do you want to keep?
Not many.
I would have thought only 1 or 2, the most.
Well, yes. Okay. So
What
if
implications has it got then if they're not there? Doesn't do anything, does it?
It doesn't do anything.
No, it's just records, really.
It's only for your historical
Oh,
information.
yeah, well, the last year would be all right for me.
So we could put 25, 26, 27 and 28
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Knowing our crackpot committee, they turn around and say at some point, well, what have our fees been doing for the last 3 or 4 years?
Well, if they can't remember that,
out?
Alan, they're going senile if they can't remember that.
Yeah, well, hang on, look at our demographic, Neil, come on.
You could always tell them to look at the history, how much people paid.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay. I'll do that. Yeah. Right, okay. So everybody else on 14 who's on the call?
No, we're not at Bury. We're just about to do the renewals next week.
Okay.
Is there going to be a problem, or should we wait?
Well, it's probably best to wait until you've finished, isn't it? Until you've.
Oh, we've done renewals on 14.
Yeah, Monksbrook is on version 12, and on the test system it's version 13.
Oh,
so that's the same for us at Cockermouth.
Right. Okay. So we want to change that then.
And Bangor.
Right. So, sorry, I've forgotten who's on 13 and wants to go to 14. I've got Bangor down. I've got Shoebury down.
I'm sure Monksbrook will, but I'll check with the committee and other people.
Yeah. Okay. You'll let me know then, will you?
Yeah, we'll do.
Right. Somebody else said so.
Bury, yeah.
Bury, we're going to wait for a little while.
If we wait a couple of weeks till we get to
okay, fine.
the renewals, and then we can go.
Only Cockermouth, the other one.
Yeah, Cockermouth, we're in that same situation.
Do you want to go to 14?
Let me confirm that. I just need to chat with a couple of other people.
Yeah, fine. Okay, that's fine. All right, let me know then.
Yeah, will do.
Right, good. Okay, lovely.
So are you?
Ongleton's still on 12.1, are they? Oh, right. Interesting.
Just a question, Chris.
Yeah.
When you talk about a timescale of possibly 6 weeks, is that the time when we would be playing about with this on our own test site?
Yes. Yeah, getting it. I think it's going to need a little bit of time where you guys play with it, because you're going to find more things that don't work for you, or don't. I don't mean don't work. I mean things we could do things better. So we might have to have a period of playing around. Everybody having a play and see. I would suggest.
Chris, one thing I dropped in the chat earlier, which when you couldn't hear me, was if you have different URLs for the heritage site and the new created site.
Yeah.
Can you use subdomains? Can it be something like admin.porthmeadow U3A?
Well, that's exactly how this has been created. It's been created on format dot. So there is there will be a subdomain there, but in terms of the aim was to make certain that existing URLs where people have used, they will still work.
Yeah.
So,
it was just the lady was asking about if there's any confusion between which of the sites you're using. If there's a different subdomain, there wouldn't be a confusion. You'd know, wouldn't you?
well, well, the confusion is that the members would go to
domain dot, the normal domain. Yeah.
In effect, it would. I think I haven't quite worked it all out, but I would have thought it would. They'll go in their normal one, and it will transfer them across to format dot.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If that works, I hope that works, because then we can leave the existing one on nothing. No subdomain, if you like, on the main domain.
Okay. It's just explain to people how URLs work and domain. Yes.
But yes, you always want to hide them from people so they don't have to worry about it. So yes, but the aim is to try and make it smooth so that members will just type in what they've always typed in, and we'll just end up with a new one, really.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
They'd end up with a new one, assuming that the administrator had turned on new site.
Yes.
If not, they would remain on old site.
Yes.
Right.
But if they've got it bookmarked, that's going to be the old one, isn't it?
No, what happened? Even if they use the old one, if we can intercept that, if you like, which is what we do at the moment on the mobile one, and intercept that and put them onto the other one, and they won't even know they've gone there. Anything else anybody wants to talk about? Good. Right. Okay. Well, we're working down the right line. I'll carry on, and we'll
seems good.
We'll get it up on the test site as soon as we can, and if we can get it up before 6 weeks, I'll do that as well.
Having been
Okay, thanks very much then.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
Cheers.